Hello, welcome to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant Chappel. Another week has passed, which means we have a brand new episode of gaming, geek, and nerd news coming right at ya. On this week's episode, EA has rejected a brand new Star Wars game. Paladins is jumping on the Battle Royale bandwagon. Try saying that 10 times fast. LawBreakers accuses PUBG of killing their game. And finally, we hold a funeral for the death of the Kinect. For the week of January 1st, this is the Nerf Report.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
EA, otherwise known as Electronic Arts, has been that developer everyone loves to hate lately, mostly thanks to microtransactions and literally ruining the only Star Wars game that we have. Thanks a lot, EA. But thanks to gaming developer Double Damage, gamers have a new reason to hate EA for shooting down this pretty awesome Star Wars space shooter concept. In an interview with Kotaku, Travis Baldry, the co-founder of Double Damage, had this to say. This was back in 2016, and we pitched a modernized take on X-Wing with all of the classic bits. It was a long shot, and we had near-nil hopes that it would be seriously considered, but we probably did it to please ourselves rather than out of any hope that it would get greenlit. EA was very gracious and listening, but it never came to anything, and we moved on, leaving gamers with their favorite thing. A case of the what-ifs. A case of the what would have happened if this game actually came to market. I mean, personally, I am not a fan of cockpit shooters, but I am a fan of Star Wars, so I have to ask the question to EA, how much would this have really cost you to produce this game? I would have to imagine that the budget for this space simulator would have been minuscule compared to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and gamers looking for a space shooter would have gotten one, because there's not a lot of those games out there right now. So tie that in with the fact that it's got Star Wars in the title and maybe sell it for $29.99, this game would have sold like hotcakes. But instead, you doubled down on Battlefront 2. Speaking of Star Wars Battlefront 2, Nexus Mods was in the news this week for their awesome modification of Star Wars Battlefront 2, allowing players to play as Matt, the radar technician. Thanks to very clever modders, owners of Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PC can play as Kylo Ren's undercover boss character, Matt the Radar Technician, as featured on Saturday Night Live. When I first saw this, I thought it came directly from EA, and I got really excited because if EA is looking for a way to feature loot box features in their games that gamers are willing to pay for and gamers are not going to lose their mind over, Matt the Radar Technician is a great start. I would pay $4.99 to play as Matt the Radar Technician.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a radar tech.
I'd like to take this opportunity and introduce you to Nexon, a South Korean gaming developer who has brought you such titles as MapleStory, Counter-Strike Online, and the 2017 game LawBreakers. Now, if that last one you didn't recognize, it was that game that came out last year with those ridiculously annoying commercials that you couldn't escape on Twitch and YouTube, that you couldn't figure out if the game was an Overwatch ripoff or if it was some type of catch the briefcase and keep it away from all the other player games. Well, if that still doesn't ring any bells, don't worry. LawBreakers flew under the radar in 2017, mostly because, well, no one really played it. According to SteamCharts.com, when the game launched on July 31st, it had 3,003 concurrent players. 2 months later, the game averaged about 82 concurrent players, and currently it's averaging 22 concurrent players in the last 28 days. Now, a key point to keep in mind here is this is just PC numbers. PlayStation keeps their numbers pretty tight-lipped, but either way, this is still not good news for a game that was hyped and promoted as much as LawBreakers. So, why did the game not succeed? Well, on a conference call with investors, Nexon officials had this to say. Our results in North America in the third quarter were below our outlook, mainly due from the sales from LawBreakers being below our expectations. LawBreakers is a unique first-person shooter developed for core users. We had very high expectations for its launch. However, the timing of its launch turned out unfortunate. Specifically, the blockbuster PC online game, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, came out right around the same time. making the market environment very tough for first-person shooters in general, and for LawBreakers. Wait, you're blaming another game for the reason that your game didn't do well? Like, let's put aside the fact that your game, mechanically speaking, feels very similar to Overwatch, and other games that are similar to Overwatch, like Battleborns and Paladins, literally failed, because Overwatch is such a good game. But, hey, we didn't fail because our game was an Overwatch ripoff. We failed because of PUBG. Do you not hear how insane that sounds? Super Mario Odyssey, Call of Duty World War II, and Fortnite all had insane 2017s, even though that king of the gaming industry, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, did ridiculously well. Like, I can't believe that you were able to get away with this excuse on an investor's call. And honestly, somebody at EA Corporate right now heard what you said, and they're like, hey guys, don't worry, I can get us out of our next press conference. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to review the Star Wars Battlefront 2 numbers. Now, I want to let you know Star Wars Battlefront 2 did not fail because of loot boxes. It failed because of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I'm sorry, what did you just say? You heard what I said. No further questions. Speaking of Battle Royale video games, gaming developer Hi-Rez announced that they're jumping on the Battle Royale Express with their brand new video game of Paladins Battlegrounds. Really? You couldn't just change the title to something else? You had to use Battlegrounds? Paladin Battlegrounds drops 100 players into a map that is 300 times bigger than a typical Paladins map. Players will ride mounts, search for weapons, and loot all during the 20-minute rounds. In other words, Paladin Battlegrounds is just like every other Battle Royale that you've played. I can't really say that I'm surprised about this. At the end of 2017, I predicted that 2018 would be the year of the Battle Royale. So to have some fun this week, I created a list of games that I think should jump on the Battle Royale Express, and if they did, I probably wouldn't complain about it. Rocket League Battle Royale. 100 cars drop into an arena filled with rockets and explosives. The last car to not blow up wins. For Honor Battlegrounds. 100 players drop into a map. They have to find armor and weapons, use horses for transportation, all the while using For Honor's combat system. The Division Battle Royale. You know, the game already features loot mechanics and awesome guns, so why not throw Battle Royale in it? Titanfall Battle Royale. 100 players searching for upgrades and tools to earn a Titan. Last 5 players have their Titans and fight to the death. Now, out of all of this, none of it is real. But there's one thing that is for sure. We are going to get a ton of Battle Royale games in the next year or 2 years. So we might as well have fun with it, right? So, in the comment section down below, let me know what game you think would be awesome with a Battle Royale mode. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all for joining us today as we say goodbye to a dear friend. What is there to say about the Kinect that hasn't already been said? It didn't really talk much, but it was a great listener. I remember this one time I was playing Grand Theft Auto and I landed this insane jump, and before I could say anything, the Kinect recorded the gameplay footage. It's like it knew what I'd wanted before I could say anything. When I heard the news that Xboxes were no longer being sold with Kinects, I kind of saw the writing on the wall, but I didn't want to admit it. But now that Microsoft is no longer selling Kinect adapters, it's time that we say goodbye. Goodbye, little guy. You will be missed. And finally, we come to that part of the show where we must initiate Nerfed in 60 seconds. Every single week, there's just so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all of the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without passing out or dying. Hasn't happened yet. So with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock and go. The N64 classic Turok is coming to the Xbox One. Nintendo announced a Nintendo Direct on January 11th, and candidly speaking, I just want Pokemon for the Switch. I feel like that's not a hard thing to do. Overwatch's Pro League is launching its inaugural season on January 10th. Let's go Fuel. IGN fires its editor-in-chief Steve Butts over alleged misconduct. The Android video game FIFA Soccer has officially hit 100 million downloads. Rocket League announced that their user base since day one has hit 40 million total players. Nintendo Power is coming back, but this time it's in the form of a podcast. Thanos' real name is Diani. Not quite as intimidating. Pokemon Go is launching in China. Game of Thrones is coming back in 2019, giving me plenty of time to actually watch that show. Animaniacs is coming to Hulu, and DC announces that Walter Hamada is the brand new president of DC Films. Right under the clock! Did it again. That is it for this week's episode of the Nerf Report. If you like what you saw, please make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, or more importantly, share it with your friends. As always, my name is Bryant Chappel. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report.